The U.S. debt crisis is worse than you think. Most people think a debt crisis is something dramatic, a stock market crash, banks collapsing, emergency press conferences on television. But the real debt crisis rarely looks like that. Instead, it looks like something very ordinary. A normal apartment, a reliable car, a steady paycheck, and a life that quietly runs on borrowed money. And that's why most people never notice it. Imagine a fairly typical situation in the United States. A 29-year-old professional living in a mid-sized city. Their salary is $65,000 a year, even above average in many places. But after federal taxes, state taxes, and payroll deductions, the take-home income might be closer to $3,900 per month. Now the real math begins. Rent for a modest apartment, $1,600. Car payment, $420. Car insurance, $160. Groceries, $450. Student loan payment, $350. Phone and internet, $120. Utilities, $180. Before entertainment, travel, or savings, the monthly expenses already reach around $3,280. That leaves roughly $620, which sounds manageable until real life starts happening. A dinner out with friends, a weekend trip, new clothes for work, an unexpected medical bill. Suddenly, that remaining $620 disappears very quickly. And when it does, something subtle happens. The credit card fills the gap. This is where the hidden debt cycle begins. A credit card doesn't feel like borrowing in the traditional sense. It feels like flexibility, a temporary bridge between paychecks. But the math behind it is very different. Let's say someone carries $5,000 on a credit card with a 22% interest rate. If they only make the minimum payment each month, they could spend years paying it off. And the total cost might quietly grow to $8,000 or more. Not because they spent more, but because the system is designed to stretch time. And time is where debt becomes expensive. Now zoom out from one person to millions. Across the United States, household debt has grown steadily for decades. Mortgages, student loans, auto loans, credit cards. Each category makes sense individually. A home is an investment. Education increases income potential. A car is often necessary for work. But combined together, the numbers start to look very different. For many households, income growth has been slower than the cost of housing, education, and healthcare. So the financial gap gets filled with credit. Quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. But the real reason this continues isn't just economic. It's psychological. Human beings are extremely good at adapting to new financial baselines. When someone earns their first professional salary, the lifestyle adjusts almost immediately. A slightly nicer apartment, a newer car, convenience services, more frequent travel. None of these choices feel irresponsible. They feel normal, especially when everyone around you is doing the same thing. And because the monthly payment model spreads costs across years, the true price of these decisions rarely feels immediate. A $35,000 car doesn't feel like $35,000. It feels like $420 a month. That difference in perception is where debt quietly expands. Over time, something else happens. Financial flexibility disappears. If income drops, even temporarily, the fixed payments remain. Rent doesn't pause. Loan payments don't shrink. Interest keeps accumulating. Suddenly, a stable financial life becomes extremely fragile. One job loss, one medical emergency, one economic slowdown, and the entire structure starts to wobble. This is what people often mean when they talk about a debt crisis. Not just government debt or banking systems, but millions of households operating with very thin financial margins. Interestingly, financially intelligent people often look at the same system differently. Necessarily avoid debt entirely, but they pay close attention to fixed obligations. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this monthly payment?" they tend to ask a different question. How much of my future income is already spoken for? Because every recurring payment quietly claims a piece of tomorrow's paycheck. And the more pieces that are claimed, the less freedom remains. Not just financially, but psychologically as well. The strange thing about the modern debt cycle is that it rarely feels like a crisis while it's building. Life still looks normal. People go to work, pay their bills, upgrade their phones, take vacations. But underneath that normal life, the financial margin becomes thinner and thinner, which means stability increasingly depends on one thing: nothing going wrong. And historically, that's rarely how economies work. Understanding this isn't about fear, and it's not about avoiding every loan or living an extreme lifestyle. It's simply about seeing the system clearly. Because once you understand how debt slowly reshapes financial freedom, your decisions naturally start to change. Not because someone told you to,